Hey everyone, Grüße aus Deutschland, greetings from Germany. Just letting you know that for this video I'm using a clip that I recorded while I was playing 7 Days to Die, just to have a little bit of something going on in the background for those of you that would like to watch. I did mute the game noises, of course, because I was listening to something else, and so I was listening to a video as I was playing the game, and so that wouldn't have made any sense. And so you just see me play that game, and what I did in that clip is just build a house. That's all I did. So that's what you see running in the background during the duration of this video. I hope you enjoy. Yet again, I have to apologize. It's been 2 weeks since I posted on this channel, and time just flies, not when you're having fun, but when you're actually busy with life. I cannot believe how fast time passes. My grandmother used to say that the older you get, the faster time passes by, and I didn't understand what she was saying. I understand it now. And yeah, I've not been doing good. I gotta tell you guys, when Americans ask you, how are you doing? You give the superficial and short version of an answer, and that is, I'm doing fine. Or at work, I used to say, I'm living the dream over here. Um, but that is not the case. I mean, if I want to be really outgoing about my answer, I'm going to have to say I've not been doing well. My mental health is not the best, and I'm still feeling the aftermath of letting go of that job. Um, because when you're in a stressful situation, you react more like instinctively, and you're in a situation of stress, and then when that situation is over, may it be a job or an abusive relationship or whatever, when because I've experienced this before when I got out of my first and second marriage, and then when you get to like take a step back and look at what just happened, you're just like mind blown, right? And this is what I've been feeling. And I have a lot of errands to run. I mean, stuff connected to my parents' situation, which, of course, I might have known that when um, I'm finally deciding to let go of that job and deal with all the things going along with that, that my parents' situation would shift. And so I'm dealing with all of that at the same time. It is not easy. I'm mentally and emotionally completely exhausted. And so I also scheduled myself an appointment with my family physician, and I saw him last Monday. And I just mentioned everything that bothers me. I mean, for one, the diuretic pills don't seem to be working. They don't seem to take care of my edema. And so he said, "You don't have edema." And I was like, "What?" And I can see it in my face, and I feel it in my fingers, when the skin is tighter, and it's not even hot yet in Germany. And so I said to him, "What are you talking about? What do you figure this is then?" Because I'm not eating more, I'm not gaining weight, as in, based on what I eat. And he said, "You're just swollen." Well, what is a swelling? It's the collection of fluids. And so that frustrated me to no end. But I had to switch over to him because the doctor that I had been seeing since I got back from the States to last summer decided to move somewhere where I can no longer walk. And so I want to have a doctor that I can walk to. Like before she moved, um, I had to walk around a mile to get to her one way, and I didn't mind. That one time I had a stomach flu, and I threw up twice on the way walking there in the park. Okay, so it disappeared right away. So, yeah, so that doctor said that I don't have I don't have edema. It's swelling. What do you say to that when a doctor says that? Should I switch to the third doctor now? I don't know. And so he said he'd prefer me not taking the diuretic pills anymore. Okay. And then I said, okay, so I would like to know why is my body swelling? There's got to be a reason for it. It's not the heart. It's not heart insufficiency. So what is it? And he said, let's just get the allergy test done, right? So as a consequence or as a result of that, when I was home again, I called. No, I went to the website of a ear, nose, and throat doctor, which is what my family physician prefers. I go to, and they also have to specialize in allergies. And so I went to a website of one that is in walking distance from me, and it said, get this, it said that they will only run allergy tests on substances that can be inhaled, such as pollen or I don't even know what else they're talking about. In my books, it could only be pollen, but no food. So they're not checking for any food allergy. So what good does that do? So I'm frustrated about that because I would like to call my health insurance and say, okay, so what do I need to do in Germany to get food allergies tested? And but I'm already so frustrated with them because when I got back from the States and I wanted to have my allergy medication prescribed, they said they no longer pay for it. And I'm like, okay, then what am I paying you for a month? I hardly ever see a doctor, so you don't even want to pay that. I mean, that rigid thinking of there are so many people draining the system, and so when you need something, when you never need anything else, they're still gonna say, yeah, but we're not paying for it because that's our policy. And it frustrates me to no end, right? And so right now I'm like, I don't even want to talk to anybody else or I'm gonna lose my cool. And it's really hard for me to just, you have a plan, you want to do a few things, and no matter what you do, sometimes, it's like you run against one wall after another, and that seems to be happening to me right now. And so, since I have it in front of me on my bulletin board, I remember because it's right there. I remember that Johnny Depp said in an interview, "Be creative, keep yourself occupied to keep from overthinking." And what he also said, but I didn't write that down, is that he's felt that life is so cruel every time he took a step back and thought about life, that he prefers life when he's on substances. And I don't want to do that. I really don't. Because I love to live life consciously, but I'm getting to a point where I'm thinking, gosh, in April they legalized cannabis in Germany. You know what the rest of that thought is. I'm really thinking about it because I'm so frustrated with everything. And having to quit that job in the knowledge that I didn't make a difference. I mean, of course, I had a certain effect on people that worked there, and maybe I did make, slight differences here and there with people that I talked to and that I was in touch with. But overall, I didn't change the system. There's still this company that takes advantage of their employees and they just continue. And the other receptionist also contacted me during the last few weeks, and she said they hired a girlie from the Ukraine that barely speaks German and hardly any English, and she has such a thin voice that nobody understands her, so they have to keep asking what she just said. Others said they're not going to try anymore, and that is so sad. That is my replacement, even though it shouldn't bother me anymore. And it doesn't bother me. I just feel sorry for the other receptionist. But yeah, so I'm not happy, guys. I'm not feeling good, not mentally, not emotionally, and physically I still have hives. And the doctor said, let's just, go ahead with the allergy test. But now they're going to test me for pollen. I've had these hives for over a year, which means over the winter, there were no pollen in the air. So what is this allergy test gonna tell us? That it is something else, probably something that they don't even test for. And yeah, I don't know. If I could, I would just go on a vacation and just try not to think about anything anymore. It's not like I've been following so many people on YouTube over the years, but there are some that I keep checking in with every few months. And even the coolest ones, I mean, the ones that used to be really positive, are now on a path that say, look at this world, is it a wonder? And I'm thinking, no, not you too. And so, since I've been so depressed and so I've been feeling so defeated, probably because of how I had to let that job go in order to make the suffering stop. I could not change the situation I was in, so I had to change my location, which is away from the problems, right? I also asked my doctor if he could give me a recommendation for a psychiatrist slash neurologist slash psychologist, anybody that can prescribe psychopharmaca, so psychoactive medication, because I would like to go not on ADD medication because that made me feel like I had tunnel vision, but more like on a medication like an antidepressant. But the last one I took, they prescribed it in, was it 2019 or 2020? Maybe even 2021. I don't. It makes no difference. But a while back, my doctor, the one that later on moved, she prescribed escitalopram, and that stuff, it's an antidepressant, that stuff worked reversely on me. And so she gave me a recommendation to a psychiatrist slash neurologist slash a psychologist, whoever can prescribe psychoactive medication. And the reason she gave on that recommendation was paradox effect, to where I have the reverse effect of an antidepressant. And the way that felt was I took that pill for 2 days, and on the morning of the third day, um, I realized why they say that it goes into effect right away. Um, I had my autopilot completely wiped out. You know, the thing that when you wake up and it says, okay, now you have to use the bathroom, then you brush your teeth, you fix yourself something for breakfast. And I had to, like, how do I put it? I had to walk through every process in life by foot. I mean, I had to force myself to have that thought, to give you one example, I was in the bathroom and I wanted to brush my teeth, and I had to remember how, what I need to do that and how I do it. My autopilot was completely out, and so I would like to avoid that. But I made myself an appointment with a psychiatrist. That's the first one I found. I had on my list a whole bunch of psychologists and neurologists too, but I think psychiatrist is better, and I looked it up on the internet, because the psychiatrists, opposed to neurologists and psychologists, have also studied medicine. And so I can have a better or a more verse discussion with them on the substance I would like to go on. And so that appointment is going to be towards the end of June. They didn't have any other appointments, but I was happy because I've been calling them since I got back from the States, and they always said we don't take new patients. So much has changed, but this would be like a very long video if I told you about what all has changed in Germany since I left. I mean, there are certain things that I didn't do before I left Germany to live in the States, but since I got back, so much has changed. And then when I check with friends, let's say in the States, in the UK, in Australia, or in Asia, um, Africa, I have nobody. But when I check with them, they say it's the same here. They're doing the same things here. And so, yeah, I might talk about this some more in future videos. But I wanted to do something, and that was on the other channel. Somebody asked me in the comments, I'd like to know how Germany is dealing with the invaders and how this affects your life. And if you've been around on this channel, you know that I'm trying not to be too specific about it. And I'm going to try to do the same now, but yet I'm going to attempt to respond to that question. So, what I've seen in Germany, and that is one of the things that really stuck out once I got back from the States after living there for 11 years. So I was gone for quite a few years, right? So when I got back, I realized that a whole bunch of people that speak a language that I'm completely not familiar with are in the streets, and they are everywhere. And I do not live in the capital of Germany or any of the major cities. I live in a German city, but not in a really huge one, right? And so when I asked around, I find out that the language these people are speaking is Arabic, and that they're mainly from Syria. And of course, Germany is an attraction for tourists, but these people are not tourists; they're political asylum seekers, the ones I'm talking about. And so I went online and I checked into it and I talked to a few officials in my city, and it turns out that Germany has been overrun with people from Arabic countries while I was gone. And, they're seeking asylum here. And then when I'm trying to respond to that, question, to that comment that I got, how it's affecting me also. So when I came back from the States, I also went to the Labor Department for them to help me find a job. Because I was researching it while I was in the States, but you can't have a job interview unless you're really here. I mean, uh, a lot of companies insist on that. And so I was asking the Labor Department for help, to find a job. And so when I checked in with them, I said, what is going on out there in the streets? Why are there all these Arabic people everywhere I go? And why can you not sit down anywhere anymore downtown? Because they basically live on the benches in the city. And of course, come to find out that this is not the only city where that is the case. And so that man from the Labor Department almost had tears in his eyes when he said he has no idea what the German Chancellor, Angela Merkel, had in mind when she allowed for all these people to come to Germany. Germany is now overrun. Nobody knows how to deal with all of these people. And if you live in the States, this might sound familiar to you because a similar thing is and has been happening to the States now that happened to Germany. But with us, it was more people from Africa, White Russia, and what else? And the Arabic countries. And so what this guy from the Labor Department told me is that they don't speak English nor German, most of them, not all of them. So I'm only speaking about the ones that he was speaking about, and he could only speak about the ones that he had met. And he said they come in here, they want to get unemployment benefits or some kind of income because they feel that they've deserved it. And so they come in, and their women are usually masked to where you can only see their eyes. And so when let's say a Syrian man comes in and applies for help, for financial help from Germany as a country, most of them have the audacity to tell the German clerks that they need to not address their wives, but them, the man, the husband. which is, if I was them, I would just say, okay, if I can't address her, she's not going to qualify for anything. Plus, if she doesn't speak English or German, she's going to have to just get out of my office, because what am I supposed to do with that, right? And so as he was giving me all kinds of examples of what he's experienced in the past few years, he started getting more emotional. Towards the end, he was crying. He said, I don't know what is happening to this country, but it is hard for us. And I said, well, you guys are doing what the government tells you to do, and you need to fix this. Because if one more Syrian man tries to walk towards me and expect for me to get out of the way, because in his country I might have done that, I'm going to call the cops. I mean, I'm going to start a fight and I'm going to call the cops for assault. And I've had several physical altercations with people so far that I've mentioned in my vlogs. One of them was a lady that spoke Arabic too, and she tried to get on the bus before anybody else. She tried to be, fast and quick, and went by all the older people that were standing there with their rollators and stuff like that, right? And I grabbed her by the jacket. I said, what are you doing? And she just imitated me. I said this in German, right? And so she just imitated me. And then I said it in English, and she didn't understand. That's how I figured I can detect the languages: English, Russian, Polish, and Italian, Spanish, Portuguese. I can detect a lot of languages. So she must have spoken Arabic. And so when I said, who do you think you are, and you can't act like this around here, she put her index finger and her thumb together and poked me in the shoulder. And guys, I'm 5'8", I'm not skinny, and I have been trained in self-defense. And so nobody touches me, right? I mean, usually people don't. This woman poked me in the shoulder, and before I knew it, this was a reflex. Before I knew it, I pushed her, and she ran backwards from me pushing her so hard, because I was so shocked that somebody would actually physically touch me in a way that hurt me. That hurt. Try to poke yourself in the shoulder, like between the shoulder and the collarbone. This is where she poked me, right? So I pushed her back, and she ran backwards about 6 to 10 meters. And then she fell down on the floor, and people were clapping, because they wanted to get onto the bus too, and they saw that she was trying to cut the line, just cut, not paying attention to the line, that two lines actually that had formed. And so they were clapping, and her friend helped her up. And I'm not the physical kind of person, but when people attack me, I will defend myself. And it has happened several times already that when I walk downtown, that Syrian men, now I can tell by the way they look. They don't even have to say anything, but the way they look at women, that they walk towards me and they expect for me to get out of the way. And in Germany, or in my city, it's like when you walk on the walkway, like on a busy road, like where there's one store next to another, you try to walk on the right, and people coming your way try to walk on the left, like we do it when we drive on the road, right? These people don't. They will walk straight towards you. And I have rammed my shoulder into several of them already, and I was waiting for them to say something, and they didn't. And so now it's like I'm sending out an energy, because I've been playing with manifesting and having an impact on what kind of energy I send out. I've been sending out the energy, come F with me and see what happens. And so people stay away from me. I mean, not the ones that are looking for help, that would like to get help with finding a place in my hometown. I mean, I even go out of my way, like when I know I have nothing else planned for the rest of the day. It was last summer, for example, there were two Asian ladies, and they were looking for uh, a tourist attraction. And I said, you know what, ladies, this is really hard to explain because you're going to have to switch buses 2 times, even though it's not that far away from here. But you're going to have to switch buses 2 times to get there. And so I'm just going to go with you because I had my monthly ticket anyway. And so I took them there. And I took a few pictures, showed them to my daughter in the States. And so, yeah, but the impact, let me look at that comment again. So, I'd like to know how Germany is dealing with the invaders. Germany is basically completely overtaxed. There are too many coming in, and Germany is based on you pay into the social part and then you get something out of it. But these people come here claiming to be in a situation where they were politically um, hunted, which turns out now, and that's being made official by German officials. It turns out that most of them lied, and they come here with fake IDs. Sometimes even from countries like Iran, Iraq. They're not just from Syria, and they're just trying to reap the benefits of the system that exists here in Germany, and I'm not very pleased with that. And neither is anybody that I've talked to about this. And in schools, for example, now my daughter is an adult already and she lives in the States, but in German schools, there's the problem that some of these political asylum seekers come here alone and then they have their families follow. And so there are kids and also kids being born because the invasion started in, I don't know what year it started, but it started years ago. And so there are children being born here, but they're not being taught German by their parents. And so German schools have a problem with keeping up the high standards in German schools because there are students, and in Germany, going to school is mandatory, right? And so you have all these kids that do not speak English or German. And the problem would be bad enough if these people actually spoke English. Most Germans speak English not fluently, but they can get their point across. And so maybe things could be changed to where these kids could be taught in English, but they don't speak neither English nor German. And so, yeah, it's been a problem. And when they got here, when they first got here, and I researched this later because I was still in the States at the time, there were also cultural differences to where men from countries where where they can assume that a woman does not wear revealing clothes, but is dressed in a way to where you can only see her eyes. Um, they look down at women that don't do that, even though this is Germany, and in Germany you can wear revealing clothes, you can, hang blankets around you, it makes no difference, but these men started sexually harassing younger German women. And after a while, the public pools even closed down because there were so many cases of assaults by men from other countries. And again, I'm saying this is only the cases that were stated. It's not like everybody from a different country is like that, but I find that very alarming. And of course, there are, like when I had to go to work, I went on public transportation, and I had to do that for 2 hours every day. And in the summertime, the windows were cracked open, and you could hear the alarm systems of retail stores going off time after time after time. And every time you saw somebody running, it was one that maybe didn't know that when the door is open of a retail store, it doesn't mean that there's no alarm system in place. And so a lot of things have gone down the drain in Germany because of the whole situation. And the way it's affecting me personally is I have to be more stay alert, stay alive when I'm out there. I'm not going out after dark anymore because when I saw posters on um, all over the city where it said public urination is illegal, I kind of figured, yeah, maybe I shouldn't be out there anymore to see what else they're capable of doing in the middle of the night, if you know what I'm saying. And so I don't go out after dark anymore, which I don't feel the drive. So that's not really impacting me in the degree that I wanted to do it, and I had to stop doing it. I just don't do it anymore. And when I go somewhere, let's say my sister and I have planned to go to the annual carnival in July. We're going together. I would never go there by myself. And I also have made it a point to know to turn on my camera fast so that I can film things if situations were to arise. But yeah, it's breaking my heart what is happening in the United States right now. There are all kinds of videos popping up in my recommended section on this channel here, not on my other one, where people are talking about how many retail stores have closed in New York City already, in LA, and that immigrant situation. And at first I thought it's just people from South America coming to the United States, but that is not even the case. It is people from Syria too, from Africa, and other countries. I don't even know how many other countries that are flying to South America and then hitting the United States from the south. And in Europe, when I researched it, I found out that countries like Italy, Switzerland, and so forth, they closed off their borders right away. They wouldn't let them in. But Germany, with the reputation it has from the 1940s, let that sink in. It is now 2024. And Germany, with the reputation it has from the things that happened in 1940, to be precise, 1945, probably figured it's better to let them all in. And so now they're all over the place. You cannot sit down downtown anymore. And my city is really nice. There are parks, and there are benches everywhere, but they're all loaded with these men that apparently, I don't know, rather sit around than take classes that are being offered, German classes that are being offered in Germany to be able to be part of the society and contribute to society and make your own living. And they'd rather just sit there and smoke all day long and drink alcohol. You can do that in Germany in public without any problems, and I find that really alarming. And I've talked to a lot of people in those 6 years that I've been back from the States, and I've heard from a lot of women they don't even like to go out on, anymore at all. And I'm not talking about at night to the clubs. I'm talking about going shopping without somebody to help them or somebody to be there for them. Instead, they get attacked, and that is unheard of in Germany. But that's the development, and that pretty much concludes. No, one more piece of information from that man from the Labor Department was that they sent a lot of them to German classes for free for 6 months, and then after 6 months they claim that they still don't understand or speak German. And so I'm not sure what's going on there. And he said he heard that about almost every single one. There are a few exceptions that really integrate nicely. They try to be a part of the community here, and they try to learn German and English. And I worked with one. His name was Ahmad, and he was from Syria, and he cried. He said, there are so many bad things that happen in my country. Because I asked him, I said, I told him, we were talking about different cultures, and I asked him how he likes Germany, and he said he's been around for 5 years, and he focused on learning English, and so I didn't have a problem with that because I could communicate with him in English. And he said it was so hard for him to see his country go down like that, and the majority of his family members are still over there, trying to hold on to what they have, and he's sending money back home. And you could tell, I mean, that was a very proud man, and you could tell the pain in his voice, in his eyes, I mean, on his face, from what had happened. And I told him about what I just told you about the guys, downtown that look down on women and that really assault them. And he said he apologizes for them. I said, no, 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 you don't have to apologize for them. I just wonder what made them think that it's a good idea to come to Germany anyway. I mean, I always think if there was like a war going on in my country, I don't think I would flee. I think I would stay. I would try to find a part of the country where it's not so dangerous to live, but I wouldn't just flee. I don't think I would. My ancestors didn't. I mean, they lived through what went on in the 1930s and 1940s in Germany. They didn't leave. They stayed, and they helped rebuild the country. I don't know why all these people are leaving their countries. And I recently saw a whole compilation of people asking that question, what is going on this planet? I mean, I always believe that when you feel like you don't belong to a certain spot anymore, like you're getting antsy, like you would like to live somewhere else, by all means, make it possible. Pick a country that you like, that you feel that you would feel better in, and move there or go there on a vacation, check it out and come back, or stay there, who knows. But I don't get why so many are moving and they seem to be bitter about where they are now, if you know what I mean. Like, I would have never moved to the United States if I had not known for sure that I can communicate there and that I respect the country that I'm visiting in a degree where I can speak to all the locals. I can communicate with them. They can understand me and I understand them. I would have never moved to the States without any knowledge of the English language. Do you know what I mean? But then again, I don't know. And frankly, from what I've heard and seen, I'm tired. I didn't like what I found out about the situation, how Germany got overrun, and how the United States seems to, be in the process of being overrun right now. And so I don't even want to check into more. I'm not into politics at all. I don't even believe in the two-party system. I believe they're all the same. They're just trying to divide and conquer the masses and keep people busy, and it seems to be working. When I was in the States, and I heard, who are you going to vote for? And I said, besides the fact that I cannot vote because I'm a German citizen, I'm gonna have to say I wouldn't choose any of these two because they don't represent what I would, like for them to represent. And Louis Black, the stand-up comedian, used to call it, elections nowadays are choosing between two bowls of shit. And I completely agree with that. Not just in the United States, also in Germany. And these are the only two countries where I actually know a little bit of what is going on politically, and I'm just disgusted. When I was a little kid, I was I sat down with my dad, and he would watch the news, and he would try to explain politics to me. And I paid attention to what politicians said prior to an election, and then I tried to pay attention to what they do after the election, and it was usually the opposite. But people had stopped paying attention because the election was over. And so for decades now, since I'm in my 50s, for decades now, I've been just seeing how politicians lie one generation after another, and life on this planet doesn't seem to get any easier, but harder, and it shouldn't be that way. You guys, or those of you that know me, know that I had envisioned something else. I didn't think that life on this planet would be like this, you know. But hey, what can you do, right? And so, as sad as it is, I have nothing positive to really report. I'm trying to hang in here. My mental and physical and emotional health is just not at the top of their game, or are not at the top of their game. I'm trying to take one day at a time and just keep going, keep plugging along. And that's about all I can do for now. And so, to the person that asked me that question, I hope that answered it. If not, you can comment or ask more questions in the comment section, or reach me on Instagram or via email. And other than that, guys, I'm sorry for the sad content, but it is what it is. It was either this or no upload at all, and so I figured I'm gonna tell you guys how I feel. And so this is it for today. Um, I hope you enjoyed it despite the not so cheery content, and I hope to see you in my next one. Take care. Tschüssi.